Hello, we're your hosts, Bill and Sonia, and welcome to our review of Servant, Season 3, Episode 7, Camp.
Yes. This episode was written by Lee Corthron.
That sounds country.
She looks Asian, actually, but
she's they could be Asian and country, I guess, right?
Cool. Yeah. I suppose.
We stayed out in the country in Japan.
It's true, yeah. It's true.
Anyway,
she's known for The Flight Attendant on HBO and You on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. You really like that one.
I did. I did, that little psycho man. And it was directed by they're a married couple, Celine Held and Logan George.
Okay.
And they've directed 2 episodes in Servants this season 3 so far.
Okay.
And they're working on an upcoming film with M. Night Shyamalan called The Vanishing at Caddo Lake. And it's starring Lauren Ambrose.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I guess he likes working with her.
I don't know if I'll ever be able to watch something with her in it and not like her.
Always be Dorothy.
Yeah.
Well, the synopsis of the film revolves around when an 8-year-old child goes missing on Caddo Lake.
Oh, okay.
So
Dorothy did it.
Yes. What'd you think of this episode?
It was crazy. It was cool. One thing I got to give you credit for is your theory was right, because you said, watch, Dorothy's going to try to kick Leanne out. Mm-hmm. And then it happened. I was like, wow, that was good. But yeah, this is one of the craziest, most sinister episodes ever. There's no doubt who's in control at this point. Well, except Dorothy. She's still in doubt. But that was an absolute display of power by Leanne.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I love any series that references the Food Network and crack hose in the same episode.
Right.
Oh my gosh. There was also a lot of cursing in this episode. Not that I like that, but there was a lot of cursing. So I'm just saying that because we're going to be repeating them. So we're going to be cursing a little bit. So we can't beat them, join them, right? Hey, isn't that what they say?
I'm a potty mouth, so. Well, let's break down episode 7 by character again.
Okay. Sounds good.
So it begins with Sean's intro for his new show and a backstory that they put together, right? You know, the from homeless kid to super chef saving the homeless, whatever.
Life hasn't always been smooth for me. You know? Parents that didn't care, homeless by 17.
And if you can't handle the heat, stay out of my effing kitchen. I mean, wow.
Yes, I loved it. In that opening scene, we see that Sean took the gourmet gauntlet job.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen, especially with the fire.
Yeah.
So, and the cursing. So.
You didn't call anybody a donkey, but hey.
Right.
What's Sean cooking in this episode?
Korean food.
Ooh, I love
Yes.
Love it.
He makes bulgogi or something like that.
Bulgogi.
Bulgogi.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess it means literally fire meat.
So nothing wrong with fire meat.
Yeah, it's made with thin grilled, I guess, slices of steak or pork.
Okay.
And he's drinking it or serving it with a Chilean Syrah.
Ooh. Sounds fancy. That sounds delicious. The whole thing I was like, ooh, that sounds great. And right about now is when Julian and Sean were having like funny banter about Sean not having enough exotic faux tattoos to be a celebrity chef, and which got me thinking about Sean's tattoos, actually.
Yeah. Have you guys ever wondered if the tattoos on Sean's arm are real?
I never did, actually.
Really? I did, especially in season 1. They showed his arm a lot.
I just took it for face value or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I watched the interview with Toby Kebbell, who plays Sean. So he has a shark tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
That is real.
Oh.
On his right arm is real. He shared a story about his father being from Zimbabwe.
Okay.
And when his father left Zimbabwe, his father saw a great white shark. So he got a great white shark. I'm sure
there must have been a story behind
yeah,
that.
had to be. Well, that's what he said. But there's also one Da Vinci's wing, and then Latin written backwards because I guess he could draw and write simultaneously.
Ah.
I don't know. And then the tattoos on the inside of Sean's arm, like the food, the honeybee, the I guess there looks like there's a mother. Those are all added for Sean's character in the show.
Okay. They also mentioned one of our favorite from back in the day, the Barefoot Contessa.
Oh, I love Barefoot Contessa. I love that show.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
Great
Dorothy
show.
should take a page out of Ina Garden's book.
She should.
The host of Barefoot Contessa on how to treat your husband.
Right. She's always so nice to him.
To Jeffrey. She's always so sweet to Jeffrey.
Right. Well, and that's what I got from this scene. You know, Leanne seems genuinely supportive, while Dorothy is being really condescending, if you notice that. Like after, they watched it, Dorothy's kind of like, oh, that's so nice, Sean. It was just really, condescending.
Right.
Where Leanne's compliments were very genuine and supportive,
Yeah, it's interesting to see both Leanne and Dorothy, how they each react to Sean's success. Dorothy, like you said, to piggyback off what you said, Dorothy says something to the effect of, no matter what happens, we're all very excited for you.
Right.
Which prompts Leanne to make that comment.
Are you, Dorothy?
Yeah.
Are you really excited? Yeah. She knows she's jealous. And everyone is noticing that Dorothy is acting like a witch because of her work.
Right.
She's definitely jealous.
She's got to channel that evilness somewhere else. But yeah, that's a good observation. Poor Sean is just trying to stop Dorothy from freaking out about the homeless kids. He's attempting to rationalize with Dorothy in every way that he can.
Sure.
So
we really see this when Dorothy tells Sean about the sketches in the notebook. And Sean says, Leanne's just poking fun at her authority figure. And of course Dorothy's like, well, you're not the one that's, the bunt of it, and boo-hoo.
Yeah.
It's like, selfish lady.
The next scene with Sean, we see him having a conversation with Dorothy. Sean makes a remark about, I finally make it big and you can't stand it.
Right.
This reminded me of in episode 1, Reborn, season 1, episode 1, Reborn, where she has mastitis, the mastitis scene again. Dorothy's in the tub and she says to Sean, there's young hoo-ha in the house and you don't want to F it.
Wow.
We're not cursing, but yeah, that's okay.
I get it.
Or
you guys get that right.
Yeah. Or B, prehistoric man sitting on the crapper, envious of his wife's achievement.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah. So now it's swinging the other way, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't Sean say B
all the way? He's like B all the way.
Right. That's right. Yeah, we see Dorothy forbidding Leanne to go back to the park. And, like I said, you're right. I'm so impressed with you.
I thought
I've had some theories that some were good, some crapped out, but like that one came out of nowhere, and I didn't see anybody talking about that.
Yeah.
You were like the only one that brought up
really?
that.
I thought it was kind of obvious because they showed Dorothy with the reborn doll, so I'm like,
so Leanne's got to be leaving.
Leanne must have left the house.
Right. Well, you were right.
I wasn't happy about it. So
you were right. Yeah. Yeah.
What I noticed here is that Sean has really realized that no Leanne means
no Jericho.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Sean asked Leanne a very insightful question as well. Very psychological thing for Sean to say to Leanne. When they're talking about the kids in the park. And, she's like, they just want to learn from me. They've never seen anybody like me before. And he says, why do you think they treat you like that? Her response was, maybe I deserve it. Like, that was an odd line, but
Yeah. That line caught my attention too, especially what Leanne says later, which I think, well, you just said it too. Like she said.
We'll talk about more in her section.
Yeah, in her section.
Sure.
But we see Sean walking in Operation Vera and Dorothy.
Yeah, he asked, Sean came in and he's like, hey, what's going on here? And this is where, Dorothy's, having Vera show Leanne the dance place she's going to send her to.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as Sean asks, Dorothy looks up and says, leave or be quiet. And he just took that like a punk. He just looked at her like, what? But then, okay, he didn't say anything. And Leanne looked at him too, like, damn. And he looked at her,
Yeah, I thought Leanne kind of looked at him like, save me, do something. Do something, Sean. But so here too, in this scene, we really see that Sean feels he has no say-so on what's going on.
Yeah. I do love the dialogue here, though. When Dorothy goes apeshit on Sean in the bathroom.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
yeah.
That was so like, if I don't condone violence, especially against women at all. But if he would have slapped her, I wouldn't have been mad at him. But he calmly takes it. He knows it's not going to work. It's funny because Dorothy tells him,
need a partner.
Not some I need a partner, not some placating patronizer husband. It's like
Gaslight.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But she's actually placating her.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even know it.
Right.
Everybody has to keep it from her so she doesn't freak out and kill herself or something.
I was really feeling a little uncomfortable watching that scene. Like to me, it felt like we were there. Like, have you ever had friends fight right in front of you and it's just so uncomfortable? You're like,
like, did I say anything?
Yeah, it felt like that,
right?
So we see again that Sean tries to be the voice of reason. And he was like, okay, fine. Well, she can leave or reassess it in 2 months. It's only fair.
I think he kind of knew that it wasn't going to work too. So it's like, just give Dorothy her way here. Mm-hmm. But, well, Leanne's on her way out.
Okay.
With bag in hand. And she hugs Sean.
Yeah.
And,
and he looks defeated.
He does look defeated.
He's
defeated,
like, and
he's almost like, sorry, we got to go through this.
Yeah, he tried to be the voice of reason. He keeps trying to turn things around with Dorothy, saying Jericho loves Leanne, but he gets shot down. Bill, you noticed something about the way Leanne hugged each of them.
Yeah. I mean, she's very loving, I guess, with Sean. Even more so with Julian. She even gave him a kiss.
Yeah, but I think you said there was a reason behind her hugs.
Yeah, well, when she hugged Dorothy, it was an aggressive, I'm about to give this to you hug. With the other two, it's like, okay, we're going to go through this,
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. But with Dorothy, she had her forearm on the back of her neck, kind of like, you're going to get it. I'm going to make you feel this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then chaos happens.
Yes. Yeah. The Leanne goes outside and you see her kind of concentrating. Next thing you know, the real baby's gone. And everyone's running around after Dorothy looking for the baby. Yeah. Well, Dorothy's looking for the baby. I think they're just making sure she's okay.
Right. And I think they're kind of, well, I don't think Sean's looking for the baby, but I think Julian seems like he is. I don't know.
Really? Or is he just like keeping an eye on Dorothy?
Yeah. I don't know. We see Sean hanging on to his newfound faith. He's praying.
Yeah. Well, he started praying. He found the ribbon that was in Leanne's hair.
Okay.
And he wrapped that around his...
Where'd that ribbon come from?
The homeless girl in the park braided that into Leanne's hair.
Okay.
So then, if you guys notice, Sean picks that purple ribbon up, or lavender or whatever, I don't know, colors. I'm not a girl. Y'all know different shades. It was purple, light purple. Anyway, that's the ribbon that was in her hair from them. But, one thing, though, he really isn't listening. Because she said it wasn't God who brought Jericho back, right?
Yeah.
And he just was kind of like, oh, okay. But now when he starts praying with that ribbon, does that mean he understands? Like,
Right. Is he praying to God or is he praying to Leanne?
Oh, who knows? What do you guys think about that?
Yeah. To let us know in the comments. And I'm pretty sure Sean knows that the de-animated Jericho is his baby. By the way, he touches him so gingerly, like a real baby.
Very lovingly.
Yeah, very lovingly. Very, very different from season 1 when he hit. Remember, you guys, when he hit the reborn doll's head on the crib?
Yeah, he threw it in the trash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he was carrying around.
No, Julian threw it in the trash. He
was
didn't.
it Julian?
Yeah,
well,
Julian
they
threw it in
didn't
the trash.
care about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, he picks up that purple ribbon off the stairs. Oh, sorry, I said, floor earlier, but it was on the stairs for some reason. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's.
What do you think the purple ribbon means?
I don't know. I was thinking about that. I know we had kind of discussed its meaning. It was like domestic violence awareness is the closest thing, and so
but domestic violence awareness was the closest that would.
Dorothy, she did threaten her.
Where is my son?
Yeah, and then it was interesting to see
you know
Sean
what I'm capable of.
put the reborn doll or Jericho back in the crib.
Yeah,
so
it makes sense. He's praying, and we see Sean running upstairs. I was so surprised to see Sean finally putting his foot down when he says, Leanne stays.
Yes.
So he fully understands now what's going on. Again, no Leanne, no Jericho.
Right. And by the end of the episode, he is apologizing to Leanne for Dorothy's behavior.
In front of her.
Yeah. And that reminded because, Dorothy was like, don't apologize for me. Reminded me of last season when she was Uncle George was praying for her. She's like, don't pray for me. You remember that?
Yeah.
But he invites Leanne, to stay as long as she would like.
For getting Dorothy's ass.
Yeah. In your face, Dorothy, in your face. Speaking of Dorothy, let's move on to Dorothy. This season 3 has been a lot of Dorothy. This is Dorothy's season.
Yeah. Well, we begin with everyone watching the Gourmet Gauntlet promo, with Sean, and Dorothy being super condescending.
Right.
Like you said before, no matter what happens, even if it sucks, we'll be happy for you, which is what was kind of insinuated, even if it fails.
Yeah, she was really inauthentic.
For sure.
So, and
she did at one point, jumping ahead, she pulls Leanne aside and says, Julian.
Right.
I need you to stop effing the nanny.
Yeah.
The big question here is, how did she know? She's clueless about everything else.
Yeah. I don't know how she knows. Like, does she have cameras in Leanne's room too? Or did she look at the sketch?
Not when they were doing it.
Did she look at the sketchbook? I don't know.
Yeah, the sketchbook just had a picture of Julian drinking wine.
Right, unless it was before that. Maybe they'll
maybe
show
she's been
later.
going through her stuff.
Yeah, but how,
Yeah.
Maybe they'll show later how she figured that out.
Yeah.
I don't know. But she points out to Julian in this conversation that Leanne was attacked, and Julian actually seems really concerned.
She doesn't say much of anything, though.
Right, she doesn't remember much of anything. She recognizes though that she doesn't remember. The Gourmet Gauntlet.
But Sean being on Gourmet Gauntlet last year.
She's definitely she recognizes that.
Yeah.
She even says that she feels like she's losing her mind.
Well, she done lost her.
It's too late.
Well, she just blames it on postpartum depression and then goes right back to delusion,
Yeah.
So.
Then we see Dorothy back in the kitchen, and she's talking to Leanne. She tells Leanne.
Well, she asked
Leanne, yes.
Kind of nice at first, really.
Yeah, will you stay away from the park?
And
please?
I understand. I kind of agreed with that, but
Why?
You know, I just think it's reasonable. You know, you get your baby, you want your baby to be safe, you know. So I get it. You never know why people are out in that situation. Maybe they have mental problems or something. You know what I mean? Better safe than sorry with your baby, you know. But then, you know, she tells her about she wants her to have her privacy and we need to trust each other. And she goes right upstairs right after that and starts snooping.
Right.
Leanne's crap.
Right. Leanne just got done telling her, you know, that would make me very unhappy,
Yeah,
Dorothy,
if you look through my stuff.
If you look through my stuff. And then right after that, we see, who do we see? We see Dorothy snooping through her stuff.
Yeah. Well, she finds that sketchbook and we start to think that maybe that's how she made everything happen. Because if y'all remember when the birds attacked Julian, she wrote that out. She drew the birds out, you know, and then we see the page with the birds.
And we see.
Then we see.
Yeah, we see, yeah.
Well, then baby Jericho, right?
Right. And then the third page was tentacles or like an octopus or something.
Yeah, what was that about?
I don't know. I don't know if that was for the first season or
Didn't they have
maybe something
octopus or
Sean
something?
cooked.
Maybe. Sophie's severed finger.
Yeah.
She wrote that out. Did she make that happen?
Yep. Sophia's the finger cut off.
Sophia or Sophie?
Sophia.
Was it? Oh,
I thought
okay.
it was Sophia.
Who cares?
She got Julian drinking wine,
Right.
which makes us wonder, did she push him to overdose?
Right. Yeah. Did she make that happen so she could revive him and have control over him, maybe? You know? We see Leanne out in the world. That's another one.
I wonder if this is like foreshadowing.
Maybe. We see Sean looking very Christ-like. He's all, you know, feeding the homeless, which made us think maybe she influenced that. You know, maybe these are all things that she's done because we see the bees or hornets or whatever. And then it looks like a puzzle.
Right.
Why a puzzle?
I think the puzzle was there from that bees episode, because when in the beginning with the mommy group, on the ground there is a puzzle. There's a big puzzle, like floor puzzle. It has like a lamb on it.
It's like cushions, right?
Yeah,
And they collect together.
So I think that's what that is.
Okay, maybe. And then there's an ominous figure that's kind of in the fire. We thought at first it was Josephine, but it looks like a male figure. And if you look real close, holding like a knife or the dagger.
Yeah.
You know?
We have a question for you guys. The next photo.
Kind of a ridiculous.
Yeah.
Big
kind of like a caricature.
Is that Dorothy?
Is it Dorothy? Because you didn't think it looked like Dorothy.
I didn't think
but
that
I
one
think
did.
it was Dorothy as Marilyn Monroe when she was in Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah. Well, the next one definitely is Dorothy. I mean, her profile, it looks exactly like her. And then, of course, you see milk squirting out of her boobs in kind of a mocking way.
And she's holding a microphone. That was definitely Dorothy.
Well, did she make that happen?
Yeah. Did she cause her to lactate?
She might have drew that wall, you know? I don't know.
But she was out. Wasn't that was a scene where Sophia lost her finger, but she was out in the hallway. I don't think she had a notepad with her, and maybe she drew it earlier. Who knows?
Who knows? You know? But we kind of see in this one, Dorothy's looking for every excuse to kick Leanne out and making it sound like it's for her own good, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
What was your favorite line in this?
Dorothy had my favorite line in this when she's mocking Sean in the kitchen.
Oh, I'm so
she's
sorry,
like, okay, Bobby Flay.
It's my cousin.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. Well, there's one scene too where, and this is where I said I kind of agreed with Dorothy. She looks out the window and because she's monitoring every step Leanne makes now, she's watching her leave out of the camera, and then she looks out the window. And she notices some homeless people was holding the baby. If I saw that, I would be upset too. You know,
you would run out and
even
snatch
if it
the
wasn't
baby.
Homeless baby, yeah. Even if it was just people I didn't know, I'd be upset. You know.
Yeah.
And then of course she walks out on dinner all pissy. You know, and he made this amazing
Yeah, when she's walking up the stairs,
Bulgogi.
yeah, she missing out.
Yeah.
More Korean food for me. But she overhears, she's eavesdropping on Sean and Leanne's conversation.
She seems really bothered by it too.
Yeah. And then I think we heard the doorbell, and Dorothy has invited Vera over to send Leanne off to dance camp.
Right. Yeah, and she's trying to convince Leanne it's the best thing for her to leave, and
New Jersey.
you know, it's going to make you independent. That's why we're butting heads, and
program.
you know, all
You
that.
get all this training.
Crap.
Yeah.
And this
That's when
studio
Sean
time.
comes in, and you know, Dorothy punks
What's
him right
happening
in
in
front of
here?
everybody.
Yeah, what does he say?
Be quiet.
What does Dorothy say to him?
Oh, leave or
Leave or be quiet.
you
Leave or
know?
be quiet. What a bully. She's such a
Yeah,
bully.
Absolutely. Yeah. Then she also says, because Vera had mentioned it's only 2 months. You know, you can always come back. And then she's like, oh, well, you can come back and visit, which I think is the most important line in
this
done, you
episode.
can always
this
right?
episode, because she's basically saying you can't live here
absolutely.
anymore
Right.
without saying
You can come back
you
and
can't
visit.
live here anymore. She's just saying you can come back and visit.
Come back and visit.
Ooh.
Come home, but you can't.
Yeah,
you
and
can't
Leanne
be
noticed
here.
that too, because she started stressing. You could see her face.
Yeah. Dorothy definitely wants Leanne out of there. Stat. But you know what, though? I noticed, where's Leanne supposed to go in the meantime? You know, because Vera says the
Class doesn't
institute,
start.
yeah,
Yeah, they don't
doesn't
start till Monday.
Till Monday. So, what day is it? Number one, and how many? So,
Well, they got her a hotel, so
they did.
yeah, she mentioned the hotels.
She did.
Close,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I thought she was gonna have her like stay in the train station or something.
Yeah,
So.
I don't think so.
Then we see Dorothy. They're on the bed with Leanne talking, and Dorothy offers the dress that Leanne wore on Julian's birthday, at Julian's birthday party.
Isn't that what sparked their relationship, kind of?
I think so.
You know?
Yeah.
She looked good.
Yeah,
and-
season one.
Yeah.
Well, she was the one flirting with Julian. But
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And then I really just think Dorothy's trying to ease her guilt.
Of course she is.
You know, what
Yeah.
she's doing.
Yeah,
So,
and we see her trying to convince Sean why she wants to kick Leanne out as well, and just like justifying it all.
any
Right?
reason.
Any
Yeah.
reason? Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
You know, so
yeah.
the
The baby's dead. The only reason it's even there is because of Leanne, you know? And this just shows she bulldozes everyone in her life, you know?
yeah. So we see Julian again, and he's trying to talk Dorothy down.
Yeah, he busts in the front door.
Yeah, he's like, it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. I could smell it.
Yeah.
I forgot what he said, but
Yeah, I could smell a bad idea miles away.
yeah, Dorothy's acting like nothing's wrong.
Yeah, it keeps
You know?
persisting that it's the right course, and you know, she's not trying to get rid of Leanne. She's just doing it for Leanne, which was BS.
Yeah, and then that's when we see them, Leanne hugging them, and then Dorothy says to kind of whispers in Leanne's ear, "You're gonna love it," you know, and then.
Yeah, and then Leanne hugged her back like, you're about to feel some serious pain.
She's like, I'm about to crush your world.
Yeah. And it's funny because Dorothy, her face is just, she's thinking like, oh, yeah, it worked. You know, she's kind of reveling in herself.
did.
And, you know, of course, then we find, Dorothy finds Jericho as
Yeah.
a reborn doll again and screams. And, you know.
Yeah, Dorothy says, I can't do this again. Like, I guess she's thinking this kid, you know.
Yeah, somebody
they
kidnapped
him
Her
again.
delusional mind.
She thinks someone stole the baby. And so she's running around, frantically around
Well,
the
she
house.
could hear it. Somehow Leanne's making the sound of Jericho
Right.
in different rooms. You know?
It reminded me of season 1, the Boba episode when Julian was banging that drum because Julian was babysitting and Leanne went bowling with Toby and the baby was a reborn doll again.
Yeah.
He was looking all around the house for
He
the
had
reborn
it
doll.
dressed up, you know.
But you had mentioned something about losing your child. Like, what did you say?
It was the worst feeling ever when you think you lost your kid or your kid ran off.
It
you
really
know?
is.
Yeah. I mean, if you ever had your kid with you, your toddler or whatever, and you turn around and they're gone. Ooh, man, that feeling for a second is just like awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah. So they're running around.
Yeah.
All around looking.
Following the sounds.
And then
it's funny because then Leanne comes back in the house about this point, and Dorothy has the nerve to threaten Leanne. Where's my son? And you know what I'm capable of. So I was talking about domestic violence and that little purple ribbon. I don't know if there's any correlation, but I mean, yeah, if you remember, she buried her alive.
Right.
So,
but she doesn't know what Leanne is capable of. I just wish Leanne would open up a can of whoop ass.
She kind of opened a little bit of a can today, yeah. Dorothy doesn't seem to be realizing it.
When Dorothy's running around the house, she almost finds, well, she does find.
Well, she finds the hiding spot.
She finds a hiding spot.
She just didn't find.
She just, right before.
But she's got to know it's there.
No, she doesn't know Josephine is dead on the wall.
She doesn't?
No.
That was just between Leanne and Josephine?
Only Leanne and Josephine know that.
Yeah, well, if you guys notice, right before she crawls in there, right before she sees Joseph, or she's going to see Josephine's corpse, she hears Jericho cry, and she turns. After that's when they found all the caterpillars and Julian stomping on and stuff. So yeah, she almost found the body.
Right, and then you notice something about the caterpillars. Like caterpillars don't turn into moths, butterflies, right?
Right, and they don't go backwards either. So even if it was moth, butterfly, whatever, they don't turn into caterpillars. Caterpillars turn into them. You know what I mean? So it's like, why were there caterpillars?
Yeah. But then Leanne steps back in the house, and
is that symbolic?
Yeah, like the caterpillars.
Is Leanne blossoming into or evolving into her next thing? Like, I don't know.
Josephine evolving? I don't know.
Josephine. Let's hope not.
I think we're going to see Josephine again. I don't know. Some form of her. But then, Leanne is back in the house. Dorothy finds the baby.
She's up in the nursery. He's up in the nursery.
Yeah.
He's been there the whole time, crazy.
Yeah. And then
this is where Sean puts his foot down. And
you go, Sean.
Yeah,
tell
go
Dorothy.
Sean.
Yeah. And Dorothy starts to object, but
nope.
Who we got next?
Leanne.
All right.
So of course, again, starts off with Sean's the promo for his new show. Leanne's just 100% genuine, and she calls out Dorothy for being disingenuous, which was great. She's like, "Oh, we're all happy for you," or whatever. She's like, all excited for you. Yeah. Are you, Dorothy? And Dorothy's like, yeah. But she kind of seemed like, ooh, I got caught.
Yeah. And Leanne if Leanne drew those, which she obviously did, she's a really good sketch artist.
She really is.
So
yeah,
she doesn't need to go to dance school. She needs to go to
art school. Yeah.
But I think we mentioned earlier, we're wondering if that proves that she's
influencing things.
Yeah, influencing things. Maybe she's influenced Sean to feed the homeless kids too.
And Dorothy's titties leak on TV.
Oh my gosh. And then there's
that did, she wanted more of Dorothy's time. And her work was taking her away. Right. So that makes sense why she would want that to happen.
Yeah, she wants her career to.
Yeah. And we had a conversation. There was a conversation with Dorothy. And, of course, Dorothy very nicely asked her to avoid the park. And Leanne's just kind of like, I'm not listening to you anymore.
Yeah. She's like, we're not in danger.
I just don't understand, like, why doesn't she explain that the kids protected her? Because she knows those people chased her and tried to attack her. Why don't you say, you know what, the kids saved me? She doesn't have to say they murdered. She doesn't have to mention that they're Church of Lesser Saint people. Right. She didn't have to mention any of that. Just that, hey, she protected me. She saved my life from these people. So they're okay. And they're protecting Sean. She could even say, because Sean fed them. They're looking out for us.
Right.
You know, and making Dorothy feel better about it. She just tells Dorothy, you don't have to worry about it anymore. That was a problem, but it's not now.
Right.
And
right.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel their next conversation, you know, the conversation about her and Dorothy making an OBGYN appointment for her. that would make me mad.
Right. Well, you know, she's treating her like a child, but Leanne's kind of still is a child, really. You know?
I don't know. Leanne asked, have you been going through my things? Like, like how did Dorothy know? Well, how do you guys think Dorothy knew that
she was having sex
them were?
She denied it, you know.
So
she did mention to her she'd be very upset.
Yeah.
If she's going through her stuff. Yeah.
And then, of course, you know, the next scene, Dorothy's going through her stuff. And then we see Leanne go out for a walk with Jericho out to the homeless people, which there's a lot of them now. And they're old, they're young, they're different.
Right.
It's a very
diverse
group.
And they give her a necklace made of just clamps and reflectors and some plastic cups and things like that.
Yeah, they bring like an offering almost. But it reminded me, the necklace reminded me of, what is her name in Game of Thrones?
Melisandre.
You guys remember that necklace in Game of Thrones?
The necklace that kept her young.
Yeah, I need that necklace. I really need that. I need
you
one
look
of those.
like you have the necklace on anyway. You look really young.
Oh my God. Well, thank you.
It's funny because they greeted her like she, you know, was almost like a Christ figure. And what were they saying?
They were
about
saying
Jericho?
about, they're like, he's beautiful, he's a miracle.
Right.
And so, and then right about this time, Dorothy sees her. She comes out. She snatches the baby, and then
before that though, Roscoe.
Roscoe
shows up.
Yeah.
He's with the group because we said before we think they killed him and resurrected him, and he doesn't know what's happening to him, but he's part of the group.
Yeah, Roscoe shows, and I love how Leanne like waves.
She just waves like, "Welcome,
hi,
welcome to the
Roscoe."
group, welcome to Zombieland."
And then Roscoe asks, you know, what is up with her?
Yeah, what is it about her?
What is it about her? That's right.
And the kid, we were calling the leader of the homeless kids, just says she has the courage to stand up or to defy, you know, and he's the who, anybody that opposes her, you know, and that's interesting.
Yeah,
she's definitely defying, standing up against Dorothy.
But the next scene, we see Dorothy is all up in Leanne's grill. Like, you know, and then again, Leanne tells her not to worry.
Yeah, that they're kind. And,
kind killers. They're kind killers.
Well, they killed bad people, though, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it would make Dorothy feel better if she would just explain that they were there to help. But anyway, whatever. But here, Leanne compares Dorothy to Aunt May, which was cool. Like, it's so funny how you could be controlling, you know, just like Aunt May. And, you know, she throws her words from a previous conversation in her face. She's like, you know, see the dangerous pattern here? You know, what she had said to her earlier.
I like that.
I did, too.
Yeah. And then that's about the time Leanne says something kind of odd. She asks, you know, she's talking to Sean. She's like, you know, what's wrong with Dorothy?
That's after Dorothy got pissy and went upstairs from dinner.
Yeah. And they just want to learn from me.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever seen what they see.
That was odd. They haven't seen anybody like me.
Like that?
You know, that's the one we were talking about earlier when, you know, she said, maybe I deserve it. When Sean's like, why would they treat you like that? You know, maybe I deserve it. Like,
she's
starting feeling herself.
Right, she's feeling the power. Her power. You know, so
it's got to be.
Yeah. But right before, right after this, she's ambushed, right, by Dorothy. And Vera,
Dorothy and Vera,
who set up that 2-month dance semiotics program.
Semiotics, yeah. That's funny. It's kind of like a ballet thing, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Leanne seems really aggravated by it. I mean, look at her face the whole time.
Oh, yeah, it set her off for sure.
And again, we talked about this earlier, but I got to mention, like, what day of the week is it already? You know, because she wants to send her early.
I'm assuming it's Friday.
You think Friday? I don't know why, but
Yeah.
she definitely wants to get rid of her quick. You know, get her out now. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, you know, she's getting angry, of course. And then you know, we see her try to placate her with the dress, and she refuses it. You know.
Yeah.
Again, refusing to give Dorothy control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we hear M. Night. Well, they show the record player.
Yeah.
And it's M. Night Shyamalan's daughter song. One of M. Night Shyamalan's Salika Nights playing in the background.
Right.
And you said you thought there was something here with Leanne's dance.
Yeah. I think the scene is her contemplating leaving. You know what I mean? Like, if I do leave or get kicked out, because she puts on the necklace, and she's like, I could just go with them. You know, I could just go with this crew and F Dorothy. You know.
Yeah.
And they'll basically worship her. You know, she'll have a purpose.
Maybe we should start calling them something different than the homeless kids. We need to come up
dead
with a new
kids?
name.
The dead kids, the dead group.
Kids?
They're not kids anymore now. The zombie
Help
crew.
us come up with a name for
The death cult. I don't know. The murder cult.
Leanne crew. I don't know. We need to come up with a name for them. I feel bad calling them the homeless kids.
Yeah, put it in the comments. If anybody's got a good name,
Oh my
we'll
gosh.
use it.
Then we see Leanne's kind of doing ballet, kind of like in the camp or what they were showing her. And then she's also kind of dancing like she was in a previous episode.
All right.
So,
what is with her dancing on the boards over the hole in the basement?
I don't know. Those are her power. Those are her powers because the boards are kind of shaking.
Yeah,
I don't know
when
why
she
the
moves them
boards are
over
shaking.
and she's not on them anymore. Is it like evil building in the house, or is it evil? It could be just power or whatever. But why she sits on the concrete and she's looking down the hole at the bubbling water, and the boards are vibrating?
Shaking, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's not just because she was
There's something with
walking
that
on
hole.
them. Yeah.
There's something with that hole. Hopefully we'll
Right, because
get to
we see even Sean stepped on it and it broke and started cracking too. You know, and it's
the
like,
floor is cracking.
right.
And then we see Leanne. She's got her bag. She's getting ready to leave. So Dorothy offers for Leanne to sit down.
She says no.
She says no thanks. And the way she said it reminded me of a scene in season 1 with Sean. Sean asked her a question, and she's like, no thanks. I'll play it here.
She's gone. You can put it down now.
I'm fine as I am, Mr. Turner.
Well, then
Toby!
Toby
Toby!
shows up and gets a rude, welcome from Julian.
Julian shows up too.
You know, and he's like, "What do you want?" He's like, "I'm here to take her to the station." You know.
Yeah.
And
But Leanne doesn't
Dorothy,
say anything to.
Yeah, she does. Well, she tells him to go home at the end.
No, to Julian. Leanne doesn't say anything to Julian. She says something to Toby. But,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
you know. She says
Other than
goodbye
saying
to
goodbye.
Julian. Yeah.
But she acknowledged him, like at one point, because Julian says, "Did you even ask her what she wanted?" And she just kind of looks at him like, "Thank you for saying that." You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So Leanne hugs Sean. She hugs Julian. Then she gives Dorothy that aggressive hug, like she
Right.
wanted to choke her out.
Yeah. Then Leanne's sitting on the stoop, just allowing them to freak out while she turns Jericho into the reborn doll, right? And we think at this point, Leanne's making Jericho's voice show up in
Well, we
different
mentioned that
rooms,
earlier.
right? Yeah, we did. But
So.
it was cool how she was making them go from one room to the other and then back to, it's like she was.
They didn't
This
wonder how, like,
They were punishing. She was punishing
right.
her, right?
Yeah.
Toying
They didn't
with
wonder,
her.
like, how she made it from how Jericho made from the kitchen up to the
They were just
room.
panicking, you know. But it was torture.
Yeah.
That was torture, right? Yeah.
And
but
then
I thought it was cool that Vera was cool in this episode. I actually liked Vera.
so you don't think she's a reporter anymore?
I guess not. I mean, it seemed like there was some shenanigans going on, but maybe I was wrong. I don't know. But she comes out and she's just like, Leanne, if I was you, if you're as smart as I think you are, you need to get on that train and get out of here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And then Toby said he was confused, and your little mean butt was like, because he just saw his body double walk by.
Right. The female version of him walk by, his twin sister.
Oh, gosh. And then what happens? Leanne's having the conversation with Julian at the end and says, Vera's gone.
Yeah, she wasn't good for you.
You're both broken.
So, yeah, she says, but you don't need to be fixed. And it makes me think maybe she was putting the kibosh on his relationships.
Oh.
You know, with her powers. You know what I mean? Maybe she caused problems. I don't know.
Interesting.
But, then, of course, we see Sean basically fall to his knees and apologize for Dorothy's actions, for Dorothy's insolence. And Leanne basically took it like, thank you, like a queen.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in charge here.
Yeah. And so Leanne even says to Dorothy at that point, thank you for trying to broaden my horizons. And then I love that line. The next, she said something like, if I'm not here, anything could happen.
To Jericho, yeah.
To Jericho.
Yeah. There was a line earlier in the show, I think another season, where she says, anything could happen to him without me. You know, and it reminded me of that. She said something about that. And I made that up?
Yeah.
No.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Who we got? Who's left?
Julian.
My favorite.
Last
but not least. So we mentioned the banter earlier about Sean's tattoos, barefoot Contessa. Then he also jokes about meeting Padma, who I think is gorgeous, beautiful. So, and Sean says,
never, which was just funny.
And then that's when Dorothy calls Julian outside for the special talk.
Yeah, sans Sean, as he puts it.
Yeah, without Sean, too. And then she asks him to stop having sex with Leanne.
And he seemed he seemed shocked that she knew, but, he's a little sheepish, too.
He says it's over. And
he even brings up her being jealous about the job and work. It's like, come on, Dottie, what is this about? What is this really about?
Yeah.
It's about your work.
Yeah, everybody thinks it's about...
And
Dorothy's attitude is about her.
It is, because she's so selfish.
And then he expressed genuine concern about Leanne. I really do think he does care about Leanne. I saw the funniest comment, though, on the servant group from the last episode. Somebody was saying when Julian had brought up, so are we friends now? and Leanne just started laughing. And the comment was like, oh, that was brutal, or, it was really funny. But anyway.
Friends with benefits. He also explains Gourmet Gauntlet off, but worried Dorothy will remember. You know what I mean? Because he's like, she starts talking about Gourmet Gauntlet. Like, why can't I remember? I totally forgot that he was on that show, right? And he's just like, oh, crap. Yeah. And so he explains it away. I didn't say that very good, so sorry, good, but you know what I mean. Like he just kind of talks it off and tries to play it down. He doesn't want her to remember,
Right.
He's more than anyone worried what she'll do to herself. I think.
And then we don't really see Julian until he busts through the door later.
Towards the end.
Towards the end, saying that's not a good day.
Julian episode.
It's not a good idea.
Yeah, not a good idea, and I can smell a bad idea.
Yeah.
Miles away.
And he, you had mentioned that you thought he actually knows more than Sean. You know, like he knows what will happen if she leaves.
Yeah, I think he
You
does.
know, especially since it happened to him.
Yeah.
He went through it.
He went through it.
Sean kind of went through it too, though. So
Yeah,
anyway.
but Sean doesn't want to admit it. You know, he wants to kind of pretend.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
I don't think he is anymore, but up to now he was. Yeah.
And we see Toby and
God, man. He treats Toby like shit.
he always has the
the
entire show.
Yeah, he's
He's
just
so
like,
mean to Toby. I think he's jealous of Toby.
yeah, I think he probably is.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
But he says something really important. You know, I'd mentioned before, briefly, he asked Dorothy, like, did you even ask her what she wants?
Right.
It was a very genuine question.
Yeah,
You
because
know?
no one's asked.
Yeah, and Dorothy's just like,
Julian,
whatever.
I mean,
she knows it's the best thing for her.
Right.
It's like,
yeah, no
you
one's
know.
even asked Leanne what she wants. Not even Sean
Yeah.
has asked.
Yeah. He just seems, you know, empathetic. You know, like, oh, crap. You know, she's going to do this to you. Then he says some funny stuff. Like, we were thinking the same thing. We even mentioned, it's like, what the F is semiotics? You know, are you for sure this is even real? It sounds like a scam.
Yeah, you hear him in the background.
It does.
Yeah, he's trying everything. Oh, he's trying really hard to stop this from happening.
Yeah.
So you said what was the best line for you in this episode?
It was when, oh man, this was brutal. This was brutal. And I felt bad for her, but it was funny. You know, when Dorothy had mentioned, oh, you know, Vera knows the head of the school and she said blah, 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 you know, and, you know, he just says, you know, Vera is a meth head who would, you know, perform an act on somebody for Sudafed. She's not an authority on anything.
Yeah, that was cold-blooded.
Yeah, cold-blooded.
Yeah.
Right in front of her. Her face
Not
was...
right in front of her. She was in the other room.
Oh,
but
she heard it, though.
But she definitely heard
I mean,
it.
she was a few feet away.
Right, yeah,
So that's
she
why I said right in
definitely
front of her.
heard it.
She, like...
Yeah, I love how Sean put
She
his
looked how
face
she
in
was
his
hissing.
hands, like...
Oh, yeah, he was like that. But she almost was like...
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. But then Leanne calms him down with a hug and a kiss.
Yeah.
And I think Leanne is saying... Well, we had mentioned with that hug and a kiss, you know, she's got to learn the hard way. You know?
Well, she didn't kiss Dorothy. She kissed
Julian. Yeah, because we're on Julian's part.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah. The line that stood out to me here was when Vera said, "You don't want my you don't want my filthy meth head hands touching Jericho's not
private areas."
Or
something like that.
Yeah, swimming trunks or something like that.
Yeah.
Bathing trunks. But Julia's just really being mean to Vera.
Yeah. For no reason.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. He's like, you can bounce.
Yeah. But then he starts helping Dorothy look for Jericho.
He
or
just really
if
was
he
checking the camera footage.
Yeah, he did do that. Why? You know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he doesn't know what will happen. Maybe he doesn't know.
Maybe because he kept asking Vera, like, "What did you do? What did you do?" But he's got to know.
Yeah.
So.
What do you guys think about that? You think he's just fronting, putting on a show, or maybe he really doesn't understand the supernatural part of, you know, Leanne's connection to Jericho. But
yeah. So he tells Vera, like he's being so mean to Vera, he tells her to basically go up and go away.
Yeah, right. Well, she said, look, you know, I can't help you. You know, I got to protect myself. And he's like, well, go protect yourself far away from me.
Yeah.
You know, it's
totally
like,
dismisses her.
Yeah. Not cool.
So, yeah. And then after everything's done, you know, and Jericho has reappeared.
Yeah.
Julian, you know, is in the kitchen with Leanne.
Right.
You know, he says
Vera's
gone, you know, it's inevitable. And then that, you know, that's the end of this episode. What are some of your theories?
Oh God, I don't know. After getting blown away with my last theory. I'm a little shy to start a new one, but I don't know.
There's some crazy theories out there.
There is. What are we going to see next episode? Is Dorothy going to realize that Leanne's the boss now or not? I don't know.
Well, I think for this episode, we've broken it down for you through character pretty well. I can't wait till next week, as always. Again, thank you guys so much for your support. Feel free to comment and, of course, like the video, subscribe to our channel, and let us know what you're thinking. We want to hear from our servants. So.
Our murder cult.
And help us come up with a new name for the homeless kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, thanks for all the comments you guys have been making. It's cool. It's fun to have those discussions.
Yep.
So,
okay.
bye.
Bye.